Let's go. We're live. Let's go. Let's get live. Let's go. We're live right now. Let's go. Good evening and welcome to another edition. Oh, gotta make sure everything's all quiet and proper. So we don't want to have our little conversation carrying throughout the entire house. I like to keep the studio free of other people and distractions. Good evening. Good day. And we're knocking stuff over. It's also not good. How are you this evening? I am Donnie Maggs, and I am here for another edition of The Wanderings of Don. This is March 3rd, year of our Lord March 2nd. Good grief, I'm already a day later. March 2nd, the year of our Lord 2023. I'm your host, Donnie Maggs. I'm here again after last couple of days, setting up and learning the intricacies and the trials, the difficulties, but not the exuberations yet of the use of a capture card in gaming, in broadcasting, and it's been quite an experience thus far that I've not been totally crazy about. I've made a lot of progress, but it's been a pain in the ass. I don't want to start cursing already, but it has been a pain in the rear end. But I surmise I should probably start. I don't know where even to start with this episode. I never started streaming until this year, until early January. And I've enjoyed what I've done so far. I've enjoyed this little if you want to call it a podcast or a show, I like to call it a show. Podcast I'm not crazy about. Anyway, podcasts generally, aren't they generally audio only? I don't know. I have no idea. But not that I wouldn't mind doing it audio only, but I like having the video there too, as you can see my stupid expressions. But anyway, inevitably, if you get into streaming, particularly gaming streaming, you're most likely at some point going to be confronted with, or if of course you watch on, say, Twitch, other people stream live, you're inevitably going to come across this item called a capture card as being useful in your broadcasting escapades. Basically, I can't even get technical. My brain's kind of a little fried, and I'm very novice, very, very low level novice. So I probably am not even going to be able to explain this stuff correctly. So pardon me and forgive me if I've my lack of technical expertise in this area. But essentially, what the capture card does is it takes, it's supposed to be, I guess, audio and video, both from a source. I guess encode it and make it receivable by another source. It's got its own chipset, so it's allowed to. Um, because technically, if you play PC games, you can game and broadcast on the same system, particularly with these newer graphics cards. But a GPU does have, and some of them actually come with, I think, dedicated like encoding, video encoding um, aspects to them. I don't know. Let's say parts. It's not the correct. I can't grasp the right word right now. But there's a part of there are graphics cards that actually have dedicated chips or sections, not sections, but dedicated, let's say, chips that will that will take care of the encoding itself to make it easier. Because when you if you game and do and stream at the same time, the GPU is having to now dedicate resources between two operations or even more, not running the game as well as outputting a uh, a video signal that is being placed onto it. That's why you like onto a platform like Twitch or on the internet. That's why, like for example, like with a laptop, my laptop, there are times when all I'm doing is streaming something. It could be Twitch, it could be a show on whatever on YouTube or whatever, and I'll hear the CPU, the chip, the set, not the fan, but will start making a higher pitched noise, letting you know that it's working harder. Okay, let's just say that, and you can hear it. It's higher pitched, kind of noise. I don't want to call it a beep, but um, you can certainly hear that, and that's the GP, and it's doing is streaming. I'm not doing another thing on it, especially if you have the chat open as well, because that increases um, the resources that the GPU and the CPU need in order to display that type of stuff in real time. So anyway, what Capture Card does is allows you to it's a resource. Now there's some you can actually there are internal capture cards and external capture cards. And a lot of times you'll see the external capture cards, but what it allows you to do is to it helps with that because it is a resource that will do the encoding itself to take the strain off of the GPU. And I guess it would also I guess it could also help the CPU. Again, I'm not too technical with this stuff, but anyway, if you're going to do so, what it allows you to do is it's more helpful, no doubt, to be able to do this. Now, one thing that people tend to do is I wonder how I do have to look up and see about using a capture card on one system, but it allows you to, like generally speaking, to hook together two. You can use two separate PCs and or the same one. I think you can do the same one. I'm not entirely sure, uh, but I think you can. But this is how you're like you'll see some people like a lot of the like big name streamers and stuff. Or I don't want to say big name, but let's say Twitch associates, whatever they call them, associates, the verified checkmark Twitch, the people that get sponsors and stuff. That's, it doesn't have to be the biggest names, but you'll see them all, even ones that are not verified or an associate yet, which also means that you're not making money. Will use you'll see them play like PS5, and they'll be able to go into the dashboard. They'll show you, they can go all through all the different areas of the PS5 and stuff. You'll be like, how the hell do you do that? When, if you try to exit it out back to the XMB, it stops if you're just doing the normal the native ingrained streaming that Sony had. I don't want to say installed, but it comes in the, so to speak, in the box on the system, right? You can stream right out of the box. You don't need anything. You can stream and share your live gaming sessions on your PS5, on your PS4 as well. I think Xbone and Series S and X also have in console streaming, where you only have to do it. And same thing on your PC. You don't need anything. You can just. The problem is that you can't go out of your game. And part of that might be a technical issue. Part of that might be because they, again, don't want you to be able to show, for privacy reasons. But if you do, this is where the capture card comes in. Plus, I also don't know what it does with your resources. I would assume some higher graphically intense games perhaps have issues with streaming quality at different times. Now, I streamed most of my playthrough. It wasn't the entire playthrough because I was already partway through the game, but it was most of the game. Ease memory cell setup playthrough on the PS5, and that ran fine. The only times I had issues was there were a few times, I think there was a hiccup on Twitch's end. It just stopped streaming for whatever reason. I don't know if Twitch went down momentarily or something. And then I think 2 other times when I accidentally went to the XMB, hit the PlayStation 1, went to the XMB, and it just stopped recording. Even though it still said on the system, it was still recording. So, didn't understand that fully. But again, it seems to be that's more of it's not a bug, it's a feature, so to speak, because they didn't want you, again, to give out potentially sensitive information, particularly if you're using your real name and have it displayed there, I guess. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I've gotten way long on explaining this. Capture card basically makes it easier. Plus, it allows you to use a separate system to do the streaming. So if you have 2 PCs, if you have a backup PC, if you have a laptop that you're not really using, get much use out of it, you can use it as the workhorse for the streaming, and then have your main PC, your gaming PC, do all the work as far as the game is concerned. And that's really the main reason that we get it. Then use it in conjunction with OBS. Now, my issue, what I decided to do is I wanted to find a capture card that was not a top of the line one, not needing the top of the line quality. All right, I don't need the top line. I don't need 40K and 120 FPS and all this other garbage. I don't care, 120 hertz and all this other horse shit. But what I did, I wanted something that was not like base level, because there's all different types of, you can get really cheap capture cards, like 10, 20, $30 ones that are USB, I mean, all of them have some sort of USB, but these are like almost like a flash drive that you just hook into the side. And long story short, I probably going to have to go into another session just talking about all the stuff that I went through with this. I decided on, because it was cheap enough, but also had decent quality. It can't broadcast anything higher than, I think, 1080p 660. So that's at the far, like that's at the end. What it broadcasts at, meaning what's it show you on Twitch? Now I know Twitch also does have there are some caps on the quality that you can have. I don't think you can. I don't know if you can broadcast 40, or 4K with 120 frames a second, or something wild like that. Really top end, ultra high, ultra setting type shit. But I was only looking for, again, something that was basic, but I want a decent. So when you look at a capture card, what you're looking for, there's basically what you're looking at is what its throughput is, and then what it produces. So throughput is basically what can it accept, because it's not like you just take any capture card and it'll just accept whatever your graphics that your power is, your graphics, and what your whatever the fidelity of your graphics that your. What is going on? Why is this come up? Why is it? Just close. Stupid buttons. So, like I said, I have my system here can produce. I can do pretty well with the monitor I have, 1440p. So it's an older monitor, it's from, like, I forget, 2015, and it's 1440p. And that's generally what if I can play. Depending on the game, I can actually play better. I might be able to play some stuff at 4K. Not the graphics card is not a terrific card. It's just way better stuff. But I wasn't looking for that, because most of the stuff that I play, even on PC, is going to be older stuff. I'm not looking to run Witcher 3 on Ultra or whatever's out there. Whatever you want to say that's got the highest fidelity. God of War or Ultra settings or something. So I settled on, was it EVGA XR1 Lite. The XR1 Pro is like 160-ish. The Lite is, I think, generally 100, but you can get it for definitely lower. I've seen it for as low as I know there might have been, you can get, there's people that are saying they got it even lower, like 60 or 50. I got it for like 69. Because I had just seen it go on sale over the holiday for like 75 over Christmas. And so I decided to choose this one. Well, issue number one is that it can throughput 4K. And I think 4K at 30 frames. So it's an entry level budget type thing that can do up to 4K. That means it can bring, now it's going to broadcast it once it goes through the processor and it encodes it. It can't broadcast it any higher than 1080p. but it'll allow you to play a game at that level, 4K, 30 frames a second, whatever it is. Well, I got 1440. It turns out this capture card didn't have 1440 as one of its options. And I couldn't understand. I was like, it can do 4K. It can do 1080. You do 720. It says it on the box. It doesn't say 1440. But I said, does that make a difference? If it can do 4K, why can't it do 10? It actually does. That was something I had no idea. Now again, well, the bottom line is that, and I'll go into this more detail in tomorrow's episode, I think, because I started this too late and I went off on the jag trying to, with my very limited memory experience in this area that I've done. Basically, most of my experience has come through research from the last 2 days. You got to make sure it actually states that. If you think it can do 720 and it can do 4K, it means it can definitely do 1080 or any of the other, different, resolutions. There's not just 1080 and 1440. There's all kinds of different resolutions. I have to get basically the way to remedy this, because I tried it, and I'll tell you, I did try it. I'm going to have to get a new monitor and do a dual monitor setup, which I wanted to do anyway. Get a 4K monitor. The funny thing is, my laptop, which is the older PC, the one I'm going to do the streaming from, is a 4K monitor. It's a 4K screen, and it's older than this one. But this screen I've had longer than that. So that's the bottom line. I gotta buy some new equipment. I also have to get a split. I do have to get a splitter, and I thought it was for a fidelity issue, like lag, latency, or lag issues for the splitter, but it's not. It's also because of another great thing I learned a lot about today. That's the HDCP garbage. And that crap. So I'll go more into this stuff in depth tomorrow. I just want to kind of give because I know it's coming on a little bit later than usual. I was looking at there's a couple new PSN sales that I've been trying to. But I'll tell you one thing. It's not a lot of frustration, but it's been nice to actually understand stuff a little bit more. Get a more get a kind of a lesson in this kind of stuff, understanding the stuff deeper, because you see different terms and things like that. Understanding how to change, for example, how to try to force or auto config resolutions in Steam, which was an issue that I thought was a problem. Actually, didn't turn out to be a problem. It was another problem. I'll have to talk about that as well. I know there's a lot to this story that I haven't even talked about yet. Not being able to play Trails, testing out, now getting 2 systems tested, downloading some it's not a patch, but it's a little program to shut off HDCP on the capture card itself. So I'll have to talk more about that today. So tomorrow, whatever. Maybe I've been wanting to do a morning stream, especially when I got the coffee flowing and everything. Just haven't. It's been busy. We're having guests over on Sunday, so there's been a lot of preparation, especially these next couple of days. Today, the last couple of days, there's been a lot of preparation getting the place together. So it's been a lot of busyness, but I'll do it eventually. So anyway, I guess I'm going to end it here. And I'll see you on the next one. We'll talk more about that stuff. So have a good night. I'll see you next time. And may the Lord be with you. Have a good night.